Okay, so again, today again with my classic. So let's talk about something important that I know I've always been saying anyway. This is not like the first time. Um, if you are changing your strut shock absorber, always make sure. Hold on. This place is very. Let me sit down. Oh, there's a gen running here, so I probably may have to sit here. Okay. Yeah. So, man, this my camcorder is very heavy. So, if you are changing your, okay, let me use the word I know most people are familiar with, shock absorber. They can also regard the complete assembly as strut. So if you are changing your strut or shock absorber, make sure, especially with the used one, even a new one, doesn't matter. Because some of the new ones actually comes with spring. For example, the 407 rear strut, they come with springs attached. So if you are changing any of them, make sure you reuse or put back your current spring, your suspension spring, the one on the vehicle. Make sure you remove it and put on the new one or the one you purchased, the shock absorber you purchased. Swap it back. Especially if you want the current ground clearance of your car to remain the same, or if you're okay with the clearance how your car is. Let's assume your car, you like the ground clearance, then maybe later on the shock absorber became weak. One of them I meant, so all of them became weak, and it now reduce your ground clearance a little bit lower. So, and as you are changing your shock absorber, so you want it to come up again back to how the vehicle was before the shock absorbers failed, or the shock absorbers. So, meaning that the issue has nothing to do with the springs on the shock absorbers or on the which is part of the suspension. So the problem is your shock absorber. So when you are doing that, do not use the spring that came with the shock absorbers. Whichever one you purchase, especially a used one. But I would even new one. Put back your old one. The only time you might use a new shock absorber is if you purchase it with the part number, and you are sure that is exactly the part number for your own, not just your own Peugeot vehicle model, but specifically the engine and transmission model of your Peugeot vehicle. That is the part number for it. That's where you can use the one you purchase new, mostly new. You can't get a part number. Use one, cannot, because you won't see it on the spring. The reason why I'm saying that is just because they say, oh, this is 407 shock absorber, this is 407 shock absorber spring, suspension spring, 406 suspension spring. Just because it has that label on it doesn't mean it's for your own 406, for your own 407. The engine size, the engine model, the transmission model will determine the specific suspension spring that will be on your vehicle. Different from another 406, 407 that looks exactly like yours, but it has a different engine or different transmission type. Even if it's the same transmission type, but the engine might differ. So in that case, the transmission type might not be the same. The transmission model might not be the same. For example, 407 has about 407 petrol. It has about 3 automatic transmissions. AL4, 4HP20 and AM6. Don't think there's any other one. So, and the 4-cylinder use AL4 and 4HP20. So you can't say 4HP20 and AL4, they are not the same size weight. So why they change the suspension spring is because of the weight of this drivetrain, powertrain, however you want to put it. If you put the wrong one, it's going to alter your vehicle ground clearance. The weight of the engine, the gearbox will determine which of the suspension spring that can be able to carry the weight of these two components I mentioned and still give it that factory height, ground clearance height. So if you go and change it and put something else, maybe you buy a used shock absorber that comes with the springs attached, you assume that as far as 407 it will work on yours. So put it, either you take your car up higher than you should, or you bring it lower, the vehicle height lower than you should, or it will become more bouncy than it should. Even when the shock absorber is still good, it will be very, very uncomfortable, very bouncy, as if the shock absorbers have failed. So stop buying blindly because it has a spring on it. You'll be like looking at it like, oh, well, you purchase the springs as well together with the shock absorber, so you can as well use it. No, you mess up your vehicle. There are situations where maybe you actually want to alter the height of your car. Yeah, in that case, yeah, why not? You can change the spring. I've done that too on my 407. Like, people who have been following me know that already. Right now on my coupe, 407 coupe, what you have there is shock absorber. The front end is the shock absorber or the suspension spring for the saloon V6 407 petrol, which is different from the 407 V6 coupe suspension spring. So it kind of made the car come up just a little bit. The reason why I had to leave it like that is because the rear one, remember the rear ones, I couldn't get the stock coupe shock a strut. It actually is a strut because the springs are permanently attached on them. So I couldn't get it, which brings the car lower to the ground. So I now had to put 4-cylinder rear shock absorbers on the rear of my V6 coupe, which raised it a little bit. Now for it to maintain the same height so that the front will press down, if I put the coupe V6 spring, then it will pull it down. The front end will point it down while the rear end will push up, because the 4-cylinder springs, or basically, let me put it there, the saloon springs are a little bit higher, while the coupe one is lower. It brings the height are lower, so the spring is also one of the things that determine the height. So I now had to put the V6 saloon suspension spring, which is higher than the coupe V6. So you now push it up a little, so kind of maintain the same level or normal level. So it was intentional. I did it because I wouldn't want the vehicle shape to one side to stay up too high, the other one will stay low. So I had to figure out how to do that. So yeah, you can alter your car height intentionally by changing your factory distance. But if you go ahead and buy when you don't want the height to be altered, if you want it to remain the same, then you must use those same springs on your current shock absorber when you are changing them. Otherwise, you won't understand until it happens to you. 406 V6 users are mostly victim of this because they are it's out of ignorance. But I know I've been saying this thing over and over. People just don't watch my videos, and then later they fall victim to this. 406 V6 the front suspension spring is different from the manual. Automatic is different from manual. They are not the same. Likewise, they are also not the same with the suspension, the 4-cylinder hose. However, the 406 V6 manual with ES9J4S V6 engine, the front shock absorber suspension, this suspension spring, is the identical one on 406 produced in Nigeria with EW10J4 engine. It's exactly the same. While the EW7 own is different, SU10J4 own is different, EW12J4 own is different. V6 automatic spring 406 also different, but the manual is the same with PAN 406 with EW10J4 Nigeria Assembly. The reason why I'm telling you this is people are always making mistakes. They will just buy complete used ones with the springs attached and swapping only for their front end to tilt down. And if you lose it, it might be difficult to get it back. Even the Nigeria Assemble springs will be also difficult. Might not easily get it again because you can't be able to get new one. Remember, you can't even get it used. So if someone say, oh, but they are everywhere. Yeah, fine, but you cannot get that suspension spring as fully used because they didn't put the ground clearance of 406 assembled in Nigeria is much higher than the foreign assembled 406 with the same engine, EW10J4, EW7J4, SU10J4, and SU7, and the rest. So both 406 V6 manual users and 406 EW10J4 and Nigerian assembled users should be very careful with their springs. They are not easily available. So likewise, the EW10 foreign assembled EW10J4 with automatic transmission and that of manual, they are not also the same spring. Automatics are usually heavier, so they use different springs on them to also have the same height with 406 with the same engine that has a lighter gearbox, which is manual. They will maintain the same height. There won't be any difference, but the spring is now what will determine which one is going to carry. So there could be other reasons too why you might decide to change, or if you mistakenly change your spring, put the wrong spring, your car might become too bouncy, like I mentioned earlier. If you go and use 406 EW10J4, that 406 with EW10J4 manual automatic assembled in Europe or outside Nigeria, no matter how good your shock absorber is, you see it will always be bouncy. Even though the vehicle height will still be lower, the front end especially is to still be bouncy. Even the rear one, even the rear spring, they are not the same as well, especially with Nigerian assembly 406 and foreign assembly 406. There was a time, that was 2014 or 2015, I can't remember exactly, I think it was 2014, I changed the rear cross member of my 406. This is manual because of the rust on it. So I bought complete one. It was from a Nigerian used, it was a used vehicle, but I now realized it was from a Nigerian assembled 406. So, but it was almost like, I won't call it new one, but it was in a very good condition. Swap it in, I didn't change the spring, just exactly the way I bought it, put it in, boom, the tail pushed up, the rear front end was pressing down. I don't back like that. They said, no, don't worry, it will come down once you drive. I was just sitting like this. It didn't matter how I adjust the seat. It was obvious that my head was staying like this. I came out of the car on the road, look at it. No, I felt horrible. I called the mechanic that did the swap for me. Immediately, please, because I left the rusted cross member there. There was nothing to do with it. So I told him, please, that spring on it, nothing should happen to it. This was like 20 minutes or less after I drove out from that workshop. I said, nothing should happen to that. Keep it and bring in that car the next day. Because I left much earlier in the evening. Bring the car back. So I will swap it back. I did it. The next day I bought the vehicle, he put back my old spring that came with the car from new. Boom, the rear tire dropped down again. So that's what I'm telling you guys. You don't take all these things for granted. If you mistakenly go and change your springs, your front shock absorber, your rear shock absorber, and maybe it came with a spring or it didn't come with spring, but you decided to change the springs as well. Now you know what could happen to you, and if you are not, if you're unfortunate, you might not get it back, and it might be difficult to eventually get the exact one. You might say, oh, but you look at it, you can tell, you might not be able to tell. Just because it has the same coil numbers doesn't mean they are the same. Just because it has the same height number, or the shock absorber springs or suspension springs you put on your vehicle with the old one you remove, doesn't mean they are the same. If once you put load on it, one might be able to see keep the car up higher, while the other one will drop down, or the other one will be too bouncy because the load is too much for it. You won't be able to handle it. One might be a little bit thicker, or might be a little bit thinner, you know, stuff like that. Another thing I want to point out is when it comes to this, if you don't want your spring, so if you do as much as you can, if a V6 406 user, manual especially, but even automatic, because how many 406 V6 do you even have? So you might not be able to get these springs easily. If you want them to stay as long as possible, if not the lifespan of the vehicle, make sure you always keep your shock absorbers in good condition. That's replace them when they are faulty. If you don't, if your shock absorber fails, you can always tell the way the car bounces. You can tell easily. You don't have to be an expert, but find an expert to be able to check it for you. You don't even need to, once you drive, if I drive a car that the shock absorber is weak, I can tell. All I need is to drive it, push it a little bit out on the highway. You see it, even when you're not driving on any rough road, it will be bouncy. The breeze pushing you are passing to make it be bouncing like this, you know. Or you could take it where they can be checked. You can even, maybe if you only want to confirm, remove the shock absorbers, or remove the strut from the vehicle, remove the spring, press it down to see if you still have pressure. If you don't, if they are weak, it will increase the bounce. So that bounce will start putting more pressure on your spring. Before you know it, the spring might break. It happens a lot. So one of the reasons why shock absorber spring breaks is suspension spring break is because of weak shock absorbers. When you don't replace them when they are weak, the spring will just be doing the entire work. So it will add too much load on it. It becomes too stressful. It will just, the more it bounces one day, boom, it will break. So I hope this makes sense. Like I said, I've been doing this video more than once. No, I've done this video more than once. This is not the first time I'm doing this, but it won't hurt to do another one. I'll always be used. I'll try and put title that next time in future, if you are not sure, if you don't remember all they have said, you just do a search. This will pop up. So, hope it makes sense. So you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, so that anytime any good important video comes up, you get the notifications. You can now decide whether to watch or not to watch, rather than if you don't subscribe, something important might come, publish, you won't know, it will pass, and by the time you realize it, you made that mistake, the video that prevented you from making. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Until next video.